just in terms of lane matchup, Hilda probably does a little bit better, but they're still going to be playing that Hilda as a roam. So, going to have a little bit of a harder time, but that's going to be a lane where neither hero is going to be able to get easy dominance. So we'll see if it's going to be enough as we now enter the land of Dawn once again. One game separates Team Indonesia from qualifying to the grand finals.
Yep, you can see Zorn immediately going for an invades as well, immediately getting surrounded by members of Team Indonesia. He's got the sustain to do it, but he's going to be as annoying as possible. He is going to try and chip away at his Albert's HP, which he can, and it seems like he will be able to do so and escape scot-free. Team Indonesia not going to be not going to be reacting to this. Not respecting, I mean reacting to this apparently.
Yeah, and he does manage to force Albert to use the retribution,
Oh no,
so he is fine. Momo taking a lot of damage. This is the strength of the Popol and Koopa matchup against Beatrix. This is a very good lane for CW, and Momo going to need to play very carefully.
Well, Arcel going to be making more on denying the jungle away from Team Malaysia from their perspective, and Zorn, however, is still going to be trying to mirror and annoy Albert as much as he can. Vin is going to try to zone him out, but there's only so much he can do. Zorn is going to focus on Albert once again. Team Indonesia cannot go a little bit out of control, so it is going to be a little bit more space for Team Malaysia to play across the maps.
But this is definitely a much more comfortable start for Zorn. He is the type of player that wants to be able to do things like this, make an impact on the map. Even if he's not stopping Albert from taking the camps, he is slowing him down. And Chiku is already one level up on the landslide in position for the turtle.
That looks like Zorn is going to be trying to cause havoc throughout the rotations of the Team Indonesia. So much information has been gathered, but First Blood has been on its way. Team Indonesia get a kill on towards Momo up top alongside with Albert as well as CW. So this is another good start for the goal laner of Team Indonesia, CW.
Team Malaysia recognizes that Momo has been taken out. They're gonna try and trade it for the turtle. Tiku does have Repri, will be able to get Way of the Dragon onto Vin, kicks him away, but Heavy Spin gonna be stopping Tiku from following up on the rest of his team. Now Zorn gonna continue harassing Albert.
Yeah, very, very good ideas on that regards when it comes to trading of both initiators. But however, top side, Momo gonna be losing out on the trades once again. Not looking good for Team Malaysia despite going 50-50s, but just like that, Team Indonesia, they will break the tier 1 up top. Barely 3 minutes into the game, they got a tier 1 up top just for CW.
That is going to be really bad for Team Malaysia right there. A full tower, full gold plating on the Popol and Koopa on top of 2 kills on his lane opponent is going to put Indonesia massively in the lead in terms of net worth. They already have a 1k advantage, and you can bet that Momo is going to have a really rough time now. I'm kind of surprised they haven't provided him with any more help.
Yeah, it's extremely difficult as well, considering how Zorn is just annoying Team Indonesia all the way through. But look at this, Zorn once again going to be going for the invade. Team Indonesia, they need to respect this. But Vin, he's going to go for a call out, and Tyrus Ray comes in, and they immediately look to punish this ball. Zorn make a run for it, and he escapes it scot-free. And that is going to be Indonesia committing to one space, and that is a little bit of space created by Zorn.
That was really close, though. It was only thanks to Hilda's passive that Zorn was able to get out of that. Formation and Chiku not actually aware that R7 is right here in this bush, gonna eventually run into him. But right now, the main issue is going to be CW. Already, you can see Vin is focused on protecting this Popol and Koopa.
Yep, Zorn now going to be opening up the map so they know exactly where he is. Here's the sound of the Tyrant's Revenge. Immediately sidesteps his way through, but he is going to look to try and farm his way and towards a fight. But Team Indonesia completely ignoring him all. But while that's actually happening for the Langar strategy, Chiku going for the invade. He's going to get pinned off by the heavy spin, and just like that, no support whatsoever, and he is going to be bowed out. The rest of Team Malaysia is going to try and join in, but here comes the catch from Vin, and that is going to be killing spree secured by CW. And this is a big major win coming in from Indonesia again.
Team Malaysia right now is just completely lacking coordination. I'm not really seeing team movements across the map, and Team Indonesia are completely capitalizing on this situation. This is going to be a free turtle going to them once again. Team Malaysia, they've been able to maintain a pretty small net worth gap, but they cannot afford to allow more things like this to continue.
Agreed. But how this is going to be happening as well? Zorn could be opening up the map a little bit more. Meanwhile, Indonesia, they are going to be setting a fight. Chico is going to go in even for Crash as well. Does they want to take a fight? Looks like they do not want to. Zorn is trying to harass the Sans as well. Here comes the back, he pulls it away, flickers out of the sticky situation, but the Sanguine Claw will keep Sans in place. Formace finally joins the fight, but it takes almost nearly forever to take him out. But finally, they take out this very, very annoying Lilia. However, here comes the catch coming from Terra's Reach as well. Nice flicker, 4 for Formace, catches the backline. They're fighting in towards the turtle bit, but the heavy spin will keep them in check. Team Malaysia able to sustain this brute frost as Moon is slowly chipping away and comes up on top. Finally, Albert joins the fight, but the damage has been done. They are trading 50-50s across the map, and somehow Malaysia was able to fight 50-50s.
That was a massive trade for Team Malaysia right there, being able to trade 2 for 2, taking out multiple members of Team Indonesia. The biggest impact of that is going to be on Moon, as he's going to be able to get a lot of stacks just from that single interaction. And this is Leon is going to start scaling up.
Yep, Chiku now, however, is going to get caught up. He does have a choice for Son. He needs to make a run for it. However, Albert will not be able to trade him off despite the engagement. Son now going to try and chip away. He does have the information for Team Malaysia. Looking for the place. Team Indonesia is going to be grouping up a little bit more. But before that, let's take a look at items real quick. War Axe purchase up on Albert means he is going to hurt a little bit harder. But as compared to Chiku's, actually going for an early blade armor first in contrast before going for the Sky Garden helmet.
We can definitely see the main problem now is going to be CW, though. He is so much richer than everyone else. Chiku actually ahead of Albert as well. So Team Malaysia are not completely out of this. They are still in a pretty alright position. They just gotta make sure to catch out this Popo and Koopa.
Yep. I definitely agree. Zorn opening up the map. They do see the turtle plays coming in. They are calling in Chiku to go and finish for a fight. And Team Indonesia doesn't exactly want to force the issue. Albert hasn't exactly had a pretty decent time. He needs to get some sort of kills, but look at how tanky Team Malaysia is, as they are going to be able to go for the invades finally. Chiku looking for the right moment to strike. He's waiting out for the rest of the team to come in. Momo is going to be coming as well from the side Team Malaysia as they force the fight. Indonesia realizing they did not have damage. They are going to back off. However, they do find Zorn kind of stranded, but can they focus him down? No, unfortunately not going to happen. But from the side, Albert getting caught off by 4 Mays. They go in for the catch and Momo completely obliterates him, and that is going to be Team Indonesia losing out a little bit of trade. However, they are not too happy with losing Albert life. They will take Momo's life once again as they go in for a split push fight. Sans, however, trying to buy a little bit more time, and the turtle, well, it's going to be in the hands of Team Malaysia, so there is going to be a very, very wild skirmish. Then from behind, with missing the mark, he's a little bit in the enemy territories, but Malaysia, they don't have the XP to fight this, but it is going to be just the right amount of sauce to get the kill with the turtle bomb. But oh my goodness, Formace, the second free of the dragon, missing the angle. He is going to pay with his life as Team Malaysia is going for a very, very chaotic brawl and is somehow managing to come up on top of this freight.
Chaotic is the only word we can use to describe that right there. Malaysia should not be winning out these skirmishes, and they are not. Albert going in, getting another free kill onto Moon. They're at the very least trading somewhat evenly, but right now, I do think they're still being a little bit too greedy. Indonesia, though, needs to be a little bit careful. They are making some mistakes here, and they're underestimating the amount of damage that Team Malaysia is actually able to output. So right now, I do think that both teams are in a situation where they actually have to be quite wary of one another.
Yeah, but the Langa strategy coming from Team Malaysia is going to work out because 4May is now going to be making an attempt. He gets the Jinkun, however, forcing R7 for the heavy spin. 4May is trying to sidestep his way through. Unfortunately, not going to be able to do so, as that is going to be a very, very nice pickoff coming from Team Indonesia. 5-0 and 1 on R7. Zorn, however, is going to be pulled back as they slowly bully him out. CW starting to show signs of a lot of damage. Survives with 1 HP as Team Indonesia is biting back.
Yeah, but it's still going to be quite an uphill battle here. Team Indonesia are in a very comfortable position. They still have a 1k net worth lead. The Lord coming up in another 10 seconds. They will be able to get another tower down bottom side. Looks like we're going to be going into yet another technical pause here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. Seems like they are going to be trying to set things out as well, because that was a very, very close fight. And considering that how the Langa strategy coming from Team Malaysia definitely caught Indonesia off guard, right? And the beauty about it as well, when they hit and force a fight, you do not expect it as well. You saw how 4Maze was able to fight in turtle fight as well. Because of that chaotic fight that is actually happening, Team Indonesia weren't really prepared to take a fight at all. And when they were caught off guard, they were forced into a fight where it could have been a 50-50 coin toss. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think Team Malaysia would have won, but they somehow managed to clutch it. So it's all thanks towards this Cho, who's always consistently trading off 50-50s. You understand from the mentalities on both players, right? From the side of Indonesia, they're relying on this Akai to potentially go in for the backlines and Hurricane Dance and isolate one of the pickoffs. Likewise, coming in from Team Malaysia as well, but they are going to take advantage using the Cho to isolate those kind of fights.
Right now, from what I can see of the way that these two teams are playing out of position like they are.
Exactly, and Albert, despite having a pretty okay start, him not aware that Formix is going to be targeting him is going to be something that puts him in the dam in terms of economy. You can see Team Indonesia, they're playing a little bit more defensive now compared to game number 1. I think this adaptation coming from Team Malaysia is what is throwing them off guard. And Sands now going to be forced to have an early air black shoe as well. Going for Tyrant's Rage, they do catch on one, and that's going to be Moon caught off, and that's going to be Indonesia finding an opportunity to actually take a fight on towards the Lord. However, Chico is still going to be in the vicinity, doesn't have the shoe back there as well. R7 still has the heavy spin, and they will completely isolate the fight. Formix Hunt seems to find them off guard, but R7 single-handed isolating the fight. They are going to try and risk and take the Lord, and that is going to be Albert securing for Team Indonesia.
Albert will be able to take that, but we see down here Momo actually getting a full lane of towers as well. That's going to be some farm for the Beatrix. Forme is now in a lot of trouble. Gets the way of the dragon onto Albert, but that was just a desperate move to keep himself alive a little longer. Will get taken out. Jiku now in a lot of trouble, getting chased down by CW, but the torrent rose from Albert going to miss entirely, allowing the rest of Team Malaysia to walk away.
Now with the Lord going to be in the hands of Team Indonesia, they are going to have a little bit more momentum to push the lane. Team Malaysia forced to play a little bit more defensive. However, it is going to be a little bit of a trade coming in from Momo, but to what extent is it going to be called enough? Because based on the items right now, Team Indonesia, they do have a little bit more capabilities to work with, because Arsene was able to get an early 5-0-2. He was able to get the Dreadnought armor rather early to deal with all this physical damage that Momo is going to be bringing to the table. However, looks like there is going to be a fight coming in. Team Malaysia is going to be forcing the Lord fight as well. Team Indonesia waiting for the right moment to pin him to the wall, but no! They underestimate the power of Moon, and that is going to be Sans respecting and backed off R7, using the heavy speed to secure the formations and safety of his fellow compadres.
A good Lord defense from Malaysia as they're able to zone out the rest of Team Indonesia, but we can already see a similar effect to what happened in game number 1. Now that Team Indonesia have more map control, they're gonna start taking away jungle camps from Team Malaysia. But Zorn walking into the bush, not realizing just how many of them there were, getting taken out very quickly on. Vin buying a lot of time in the backline. A nice Jikundo, but Forme is not gonna be able to do much. Heavy spin pins Chiku against the wall. You will be able to survive for now, almost taking out R7, but the rest of Team Indonesia will follow up. 3 kills for nothing.
Nicely done coming from Team Indonesia with the heavy speed to isolate the fight. Team Malaysia tried to go in for a force fight. Unfortunately, could not get the trade-off in terms of the better end. Momo does have a little bit more economy to actually win this fight. However, they need to figure a way to deal with Sans. And look at this Moon. He's going to get bursted down. And Sans goes in for the Shadow Bomb. And that's going to be a very, very nice pickup coming from Sans.
We are seeing an unfortunate repeat of game number 1 now. Malaysia put up a pretty good fight so far, but now Indonesia is really growing their net worth lead, a 6K difference in their favor. They again have control over the map, and Team Malaysia is going to be that much more difficult for them to actually extend out and get some farm on their later game cores.
Agreed. It's going to be a very difficult situation, but Indonesia, like you said as well, is going to have a 6K net worth lead. And now 20 seconds left before this next Lord. Indonesia is going to try and set things up. R7 going to be opening up the map, trying to, zone off the map. But it seems like there is going to be a split attempt coming from Indonesia to try and punish any spot of split pushers coming in from Team Malaysia. R7 intentionally showing himself down bottom, making sure that there's no cut-off strategy from Team Malaysia to punish Albert, who's currently having a very difficult time getting some sort of fun. But initially, and now with 4, 1, and 15, they're setting their marks in towards the Lord pit now.
You can see that Ben is still putting a lot of attention into protecting CW, and that is because the rest of his team doesn't need his help anymore. All he has to do is defend their primary DPS. Now the Lord has come back up once again. Indonesia going in, looking for Moon. A nice sidestep from the Sicilian allows him to avoid the Torrent Rose.
Yep, seems like Moon is going to be forced to pop the ultimate a little bit earlier as he needs to back off. Meanwhile, here comes the concealed play coming from Indonesia. They're going to focus on 4 mains, but this is a Cho we're talking about. It's not exactly an easy thing to fight, but Chico go looking for the flank. They catch on to the win. A 3-man Chico coming from 4 mains is great, but it's not going to be enough as there is no follower from side Team Malaysia. Now they are going to be on retreat as well. As you can see R7 focusing on Momo to try and isolate the fight, while the rest of Team Indonesia are grouping up to try and salvage the situation. Moon gets a nice sanguine call, wants to turn the tide. Here comes Zorn looking for the chop. Indonesia needs to respect this. Finally, Momo goes for a big out. Indonesia has to respect this and back off.
This is actually not that bad for Team Malaysia. He only losing 4 mains in that entire skirmish and actually zoning out the rest of Team Indonesia away from the Lord. It looks like they're still not going to take the risk to go for the Lord as of right now because they can't afford for Indonesia to have it stolen. This is quite unfortunate for them. 4 mains trying to look for CW, but gets stopped and dies before he can finish off the Way of the Dragon.
Now, I really like how that Team Malaysia is understanding that the main damage output coming from Team Indonesia is pretty much the Lilia, right? The moment they use up all the Shadow Bomb charges as well as the Black Shoe charges, that's pretty much no damage whatsoever. And once they're able to sustain this way through, Team Indonesia is going to be really heavily relying on towards CW and Elba's damage. And once you sidestep all of that, it's not really that much of a threat. And if they can isolate and also waste up all the spells, they can look for retaliation, which we did see that time and time again, Team Malaysia was trying as much as possible to dodge all these fights before re-engaging.
Yeah, but hopefully it's going to be enough now because they are still 6k net worth behind. The Lord is going to be challenged once again. Team Indonesia all around. Chiku gonna be running into a couple of them in the backline, taking a lot of damage from Albert. Zorn trying to stop Vin as Sans is in the backline. He's aiming for Momo. Chiku gonna be able to... Oh my goodness, Momo just disappears. TW taking a lot of damage from Moon as well as Vin now going to be zoning out 4 maze. They're looking for one more. Moon going to be the next target taken out. Chiku and Zorn now going to be focused. Sans doing so much work on this Lilia, and the rest of Team Malaysia have to back this off.
Oh, that's the thing about the Lilia as well. Once you go for Shadow Ball, you get kills. This is huge for the team, but it is a hit and miss. But beautiful rotation coming from Sans as well, going for the fight, knowing that he does have the advantage when it comes to baiting of spells. And because of that, Moon and Momo just could not stand a chance. They weren't expecting a flank of a Lilia coming from behind, and because of that, they are going to lose the trade very, very quickly. But it's understandable why Indonesia made the play. They know 4 mains has a tendency to go in for split push. As soon as they saw the Cho down bottom, they immediately forced the fight.
I'm just really impressed at the way that Sans was positioning in that fight as well. The fact that he was being targeted by Team Malaysia and still found the time to just take out Momo, even though he didn't look like he was looking in that direction at all. The Luminous Lord now pushing up top lane. CW doing a lot of damage to the bottom inhibitor as well.
Yep, Team Indonesia now going to be knocking onto the inhibitor. It looks like there's going to be a force fight up top, and Lord is going to be pushing on towards the inhibitor. Chiku needs to play a little bit safe. He's taking a little too much damage as well, as he's going to make a run for it, while Indonesia can't seem to pick him off. They are going to try to get more objectives. Albert, however, is going to back off a little bit more and hoping that Team Malaysia is going to be making a little bit of punishment as well. Win cooking up the Tyrant's Revenge. Not going to connect on this Team Malaysia, but as of yet, they're playing in the mid space.
Right now, we're in a situation where Team Malaysia does need to find some sort of pick-off. But Team Indonesia can do that so much more easily and so much.
Regardless of where the place it is going to put a dent into the ideas and conversations on how they set up their follow-up. So without further ado, we're going to be continuing the game in game number 2 as of yet, as this is going to be Indonesia taking a very, very huge lead against Team Malaysia with a 10k net worth lead against Team Malaysia on top of it.
10,000 gold difference is usually a very safe bet to say that it's not going to be something you come back from. But if Team Malaysia are able to delay the game long enough and actually get full items on their team, then this difference won't actually make that big of an impact. The question is whether or not they are actually able to delay it to that extent, because Team Indonesia right now are continuing to zone them out of their own jungle.
Yeah, I definitely agree as well. But Indonesia, R7 looking for the catch. Looks like he almost catch 4 mains, thinking about a heavy spin. But this is a Cho we're talking about as well. Moon, however, barely trickling down onto R7's health, and this just shows you how much magic resist he has as compared to the other to Chiku, who's also starting to struggle in terms of damage output.
You can see that Chiku is trying to go into the enemy jungle to see if there are any camps left for him to farm, but it is all empty. Indonesia has been very efficiently farming up not just their own camp, but all of Team Malaysia's camps as well, which is just making it that much more difficult for any attempts at catching up to farms to happen.
Yep. Now Chico going to be baiting reactions coming from Team Indonesia. They are not taking it yet, but Indonesia has a little bit more control onto his Lord Fate. But Team Malaysia, they are going to try and force a fight, but it looks like Team Indonesia, they concede the Lord, and they now going to be forcing it down to the middle. Here comes the pull coming in as well. They catch on Zord from side Team Indonesia, and Team Malaysia has to back off. Here comes the heavy spin coming from R7. He's got the sprint, but immediately gets cancelled as well. As here comes the re-engage coming from Team Malaysia, but they just don't have the damage, and they are afraid of what Suns is bringing to the table. The Shadow Bomb just isolating Team Malaysia from pressing forward. And while that is actually happening as well, Albert as well as CW is going to be focusing on the Lord. And this is just a very, very convincing takedown coming from Team Indonesia.
This is just looking real bad for Team Malaysia right now. Formate's trying to buy some time. Sans just negating all of the damage from Moon with the Black Shoes as well. We have reached the 20-minute point in this game. The Lord has successfully been taken by Team Indonesia, and this is now going to be the do-or-die defense by Team Malaysia. If they lose this, they will be dropping down to the third place bronze match later on against Team Singapore.
Agreed. But as of yet, having the Radiant Armor up onto his R7 is a great indicator to just shut down Moon's overly progressive stacks in terms of damage output. So it's a way that counters his playstyle, but at the same time, here comes the flicker coming in, catching on Moon, and that is huge, but he is going to be able to escape his mouth. But at the same time, Formate's goes to Rosetta as well. He is going to burn through to his immortalities. But Malaysia, can they fight? No, a little bit more. No, they cannot. Albert is on a godlike streak as he takes Formate's down. Meanwhile, Chico is completely isolated from the rest of his members as he is going to be taken out, and his immortality completely wasted down as Team Indonesia will get 2-0 trade-off as they continue with their assault. They're looking to close up the game, and seems like this is going to be a very, very good time for them to do so as they continue to push forward, and they're focusing the crystal, and they have done it. Ladies and gentlemen, Team Indonesia are your second grand finalists.
We are going to be seeing history repeat itself as Indonesia versus Philippines is going to be your SEA Games Grand Finals for the second time in a row. GG, well played to Team Malaysia, but this does seem like an unfortunate case of just being